So welcome back. In this lesson, we will learn how to pass some data between our list view controller and items view controller. So to do that, I'm going to go to my items view controller.h, and up here I'm going to introduce a new property. I'm going to say add property non-atomic, and that's of a type integer. I'm going to call it current list integer. So that is the number of the list we have clicked on or tapped on. So if I tap on this one, that is 0, this one is 1, so on and so forth. So let's see how we're going to use that. Then I'm going to go to my list view controller and introduce a new method, basically a UI kit method, which is a void prepare for segue. And in the prepare for segue, you usually want to know which segue it is, but because we only have one segue, I don't really need to do that. So I'm going to say items view controller, which we have to import. So I'm going to say import items view controller. So I'm going to say, what did I do? No. I'm going to say items view controller, and I'm going to call this items ctrl equals my segue destination view controller. So that's that. Then I'm going to say items ctrl dot current list integer is our sender, which if you remember was our index path. So I'm going to say is going to be our sender. Now our sender doesn't have something like a row simply because it doesn't know it is an index path. So we actually have to convert it or cast it to an index path. ns index path sender. So that dot row, and ns index path dot row is an ns integer, so we have to actually get an integer of it. It's not an ns integer, it's just an integer. So let's see what we did one more time. Every time we're going to go to the item segue id, we get the ns index path, we get the row that it's been tapped on, and we send that to our items view controller, which is the destination of our segue. So in theory, when we land in items view controller, in here we should know which row was tapped on. And the only way we can test that is this. We can say list name label dot text is, and that we can only get it from our app data. So because of that, items view controller, I'm going to say import app data, and if you remember, add property non-atomic return, and let's call it app data shared instance. So now that we have access to our shared instance, we come in here and we say shared instance is app data. I don't know why it doesn't do it for me, but app data shared manager, and the text for our label is shared instance dot current list integer dot list name. Really quickly, before I jump into run it, I want to re-explain this for you because I think it became too much in such a short span of time. So what we did was we said in the list view controller, if you went to a certain segue, also send which row has been tapped on. So we know row has been 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever, and that number corresponds to a certain list from our app data current LST. So when we end up in items view controller, we say, well, that little label that is up there, this one should show us the name that is correctly the list name of whoever that is in the current LST. So if this all works, we should be able to see our list name properly on top of our items view. Let's see if that works. I'm going to run this. And now we go to sample list. It says sample list. We go to party. It says party. Perfect. Everything is working as we expected it. So I think this is a good time to pause this and we come back to it in our next lesson.